Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sphons CCW Live Show. Obviously brought to you by Sphons CCW, thisandthatdistribution.com, and the Minerva Sportsmans Club. So what do we got for you tonight? Well, we got some pretty cool announcements, some cool stuff coming up. Want to get right into it, though, and start out with the upcoming class schedule. It has been filling up faster than we can put up classes. Thanks, everybody, for coming on down and taking classes with us. What do we got coming up? 4/4/2020. We had to add a concealed carry or basic pistol class, whatever you want to call it. So we just put that one up on the website and put an event out for it. So if you want in on that one, get over to the website and get signed up. Bring a friend. 4/26. We got another concealed carry class coming up. There's plenty of room in both of these classes. We just put them up. So if you're wanting to get on one of them, get on over to the website, sponsccw.com, and get signed up. 5:30, we got a basic rifle and carbine class coming up. Describe that class a little bit. Learn how to use your rifle, learn the fundamentals of rifle shooting, reloads, zero. We add in, how to adjust your scope, how to use your scope for drop and windage. So it's a fun class. It's a fun day. Shoot some ammo. You can bring a 22 if you want to. So if you want to get in on that, 5:30. 5:31 is going to be rifle instructor. So if you're going to sign up for the rifle instructor class, you need to attend both days. That is up on the website. And then we got 5:16 is a concealed carry class, NRA basic pistol, and then 5:17 is pistol instructor. So if you're looking to become a pistol instructor, then head on over to the website and get signed up for that. Speaking of the website, we have a brand new website up. It went live, Wednesday, Thursday? Wednesday it went live. So if you've been going to our old website, clear your internet cache and head on over to the new website because it's really cool. We're going to pull it up and check it out here. And you guys can check it out with us here. All right, so trying a little bit new format here today. Got everything at the bottom of the screen. As you can see, here's our logo. The cool part about this website is anything that you want to buy is on the website. Shop 24/7, 365. Anything that's available to us from the distributor is available to you. Free ship to store. So if you want to pick something up here at the store, then click on the website and send it on down. It comes on a regular stock order once a week. Stock orders come Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you want something, go for it. There is 150,000 different products, almost $1 billion worth of inventory on the website right now.
More to come.
Yeah, and more to come. Obviously, we don't have everything on the website in the store because we have a small store and we'd run out of room real quick. But
much as we'd like.
Yeah, much as we would like to have all of that stuff here just to fiddle with. It didn't.
We need 2 buildings.
Yeah, we need 2 buildings. Speaking of which, did them white canics show up today?
One of them.
Hey, sweet. Check out an upcoming video on an open box for a white canic. We're going to do one of them. But anything you want is on the website. You can get signed up for class. They are all listed right here in the training classes department. There is a ton of them here. Featured right on the website. You want rifles, you want pistols, you want shotguns, you want ammo, sights. It doesn't matter. You can buy it, send it to the store. If you're not within driving distance, no worries. You can pay the shipping and have that stuff shipped to your house. Outside of guns, they have to go to an FFL dealer. But if there's any gear or accessories that you want on that's in that store, feel free. Head on over there and click on a category and have it shipped to your door. And the shipping's not bad either. So we got a discount through the website manufacturer in which we had set this up. So the shipping's pretty good.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yep.
All right. So, range tip.
Range tips. All right. Of course, when you go to the range, your basic stuff you're going to take, your range bag is going to have your guns and ammunition in it. And normally, unless you're carrying around 500 rounds of ammunition or something with you, your range bag has a lot of space in it, or you got 4 or 5 guns in there. Some of the basic things you should carry with you on to the range. We're going to start out with this little baby right here. A lot of people don't know what this is. It looks like a piece of dowel rod, and that's exactly what it is. If you've never had a squib load, this will really come in handy if you ever do. Should have one of them. Some kind of pliers, screwdriver, whatever. These work kind of good. It doesn't have to be a Leatherman, but it needs to have pliers and a screwdriver of each sort, Phillips and regular. I don't know why you would need a corkscrew, but you never know. Maybe a small knife, something like that. Tweezers, something like that. Wouldn't be a bad thing. I remember a day when we had to pick out a stick out of Jason's gun because it wouldn't work. And took the average day at the range.
One and only time that thing's failed, it had a stick in there.
Yep. And the other thing, this is kind of handy. Outer's gun cleaning toolkit. And it's got a little plastic pick and a brush and stuff like that. Little punch. They're all plastic, but they're good for a range bag just to keep you in action down there. Nobody wants to drive 45 minutes to a range and then have something happen unexpectedly and have to drive back home and fix their gun.
And if you're out there training and practicing, you'll get guns dirty. You'll get them. You'll have weird stuff happen. You run enough ammo through there. You'll see weird stuff. You'll have stuff happen on your sight. That one and only thing you didn't lock tight, you will figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got that right.
We just spent 25 minutes Loctiting shit on our AR. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes we just go through and re-lock tight them.
This comes in handy for that time when that sight falls off the back of your gun and you're missing the screw. And you're looking around on the concrete for it. That might save you a trip home.
You mean the mud?
In the mud. Now, sometimes it might even not even be a bad idea to have a little magnet on a stick, but that's kind of overkill a little bit. Anyway, a marker.
Mark holes.
Mark holes.
How many times have you forgot a marker?
Yep.
Which hole was that?
Which hole did I shoot?
There's all kinds of you can mark holes. You can draw funny pictures on the targets. You can draw out new targets on used up little used up pieces of targets, and you can write stuff to mess with your buddies on targets. And,
right. You can draw a mustache on your wife as far as that goes and get away with it.
Sure.
But some kind of gun wipe. These are Birchwood Casey Barricade. These are kind of one-time use, but I got a couple of these I've had around for a couple of months in my range bag, along with the Remington gun oil wet cloth and everything. Cleaning kit. If you're going to do any kind of shooting in inclement weather, which you should, just to find out what it's like handling a slippery gun. And you should have something like this in it. Some gun oil, maybe a little bit of solvent, bore brush, and a swab. I guess there's just a swab. If you got a cleaning kit, you don't have to buy one. Just buy a swab. And just little stuff you need.
That's nice if it's inclement weather and it's pouring rain and everything you got soaking wet. You can take shelter a little bit and kind of wipe everything down and run a swab of oil and stuff down around everything. It keeps it from keeps everything because some of this stuff will rust
quickly.
A few hours you get home, you got a gun in a case or whatnot. In a few hours, stuff can rust. Start to rust. Rust process starts instantaneously. One thing I like to carry is some of them cheap little, them folding Allen wrenches.
Yeah, those work really
metric and standard, because nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody can make everything the same. So like ARs with hand guards, sights on pistols, just so many different accessories anymore.
Yep.
They got
Allen keys on them,
Right.
and keep a couple of them in my range bag.
The other thing I didn't think about until just now that I do have in my range bag, little baggie with some Q-tips in it. Just for that time when you get some really dirty ammunition and you field strip it and look down inside, it's like, oh my God, that's why this thing don't work. It's all jammed up with gunk in the springs and everything and the trigger bar. So,
or you get a piece of brass in your ear, you can use a Q-tip to get it out.
Yeah, right, exactly. You can clean it out. And the obvious stuff, staples. You want to put some targets up. Target stand. We have had a lot of problems with that down at the Sportsmans Club. Take a target stand with you and targets. Don't use kids' toys. Don't use TVs. Don't use like that stuff because somebody has to clean that up. And the other thing is maybe a cheap pair of binoculars if you're trying to shoot, a little bit longer range with your pistol and save you a lot of walking back and forth. If you're shooting 25 yards and trying to put 5 yards on a 4-inch circle or 5 shots on a 4-inch circle, save you a lot of walking back and forth. A pair of binoculars, a cheapo $20 ones wouldn't be a bad thing to have. So, but you can customize it however you want to, depending on what you're shooting, how you're shooting, when you're shooting, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, this is kind of stuff that, all of us have in our range bag and have had times where we are glad we did.
Yeah.
So, and just kind of little stuff to keep in mind when you go to the range. And carry tip. Of course, you should be carrying your gun all the time, whether you carry it on body or off body. And we've, of course, been stressing practicing with your gear and all that stuff, just to make sure that you are effective when you need it, and you can, recognize the threat and get your gun on target. The other thing that enters into that is your normal clothing and what you normally carry. We haven't talked a lot about that, but I know in my pockets I normally got a lighter and a small pocket knife, and then in this side I got my flashlight, wallet, cell phone. What side are you carrying them on as far as, your gun and strong hand, weak hand, whatever, if they're in the way of your draw, one or the other, if your wallet or, keys or whatever you're carrying that day is in the way of your draw, it's time to do something else. So, because you just made yourself totally ineffective.
Well, the other thing is I carry my wallet in my left pocket.
Yeah.
If you're right-handed and you want to use a little bit of deception, if you're having to throw a wallet out or something like that, maybe you should consider carrying your wallet, keys on the other side. That way your dominant hand is free to go for your pistol or your pepper spray or whatever it might be that you're using to defend yourself. Exactly. And you don't have something in your dominant hand. I do the same thing with the shopping bags. I try and carry them in my offhand.
Well, and speaking of wallets, like I know I've run into this depending upon, pocket style and stuff like that, is where how I carry them with my wallet. If I'm wearing a certain pair of pants, I have to carry outside the waistband because I can't get my wallet out.
Yeah.
If I carry inside the waistband.
Yeah, because
at the child time carry there, can't get my wallet out, and you are going to need your wallet a lot more times than you're going to need a pistol.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can't just go peeling a pistol out at the counter at the gas station. I just got to get my wallet.
Yeah. They kind of freak out when you do that.
Well, you could, but you would probably be the last time.
Well, you probably wouldn't need your wallet anymore.
Yeah, right.
At least for a little while.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that, like on top of my carry, do I need to rearrange my stuff so that the things that I do normally get, you carry the gun for that worst case scenario, but all those other things that you carry during the day, you're going to have them, probably in and out of your pockets multiple times a day.
Right.
What kind of interference is that going to cause too? Or, and are you going to have to bring undue attention to your firearm that you're trying to carry concealed to get to your cell phone that,
Right.
You're having a conversation with somebody and, you keep having to check your cell phone in this conversation, but every time you do, you're drawing undue attention to your firearm that you don't really want to. So
right.
Getting that stuff set up so that everything kind of works together.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the thing, even if you obviously don't want to, of course, going back to the criminals, mindset, they're looking for easy targets. And if you got, even if they have an inkling that you might be carrying a firearm, and 99% of people are right-handed. If you got a right hand full of grocery bags, they might give it a shot.
Yeah.
But carrying it in your left hand and looking around and with your right hand dangling or with your keys in it so you can give them a good pop with your keys before you drop them and pull your gun if you need it, is a good idea, But you need to think about that along with training with your gear and arrange your I'm going to say paraphernalia that you keep every day in your pocket in the right place also. So,
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah. Scott Anderson says, keep up the good work. If you fail to plan ahead, then you plan to fail. Absolutely. Great quote, guy.
Yep.
That is 100% correct.
Yep.
And we're going to get to see a video tonight that, somebody actually planned ahead. Their application was a little rough to say. And there's a couple things we could learn from this video tonight. But all in all, I think I have no idea of the outcome. I search these videos out and find them on the internet and then have no idea what the end of the story is. I wish at some point in time we could find the end of the story, but seems to be kind of hard. But anyway, we're gonna pull this up here if we can, and trying a new format out tonight. Trying to put everything at the bottom of the screen so you can kind of see what we're up to and interact with us a little bit. So what we have here is some type of a cell phone store. This video's been around for I don't know, a couple weeks or so, and I've seen it a couple times and watched it a couple times. And we got a couple different angles of it here, but what I really want to point out right to begin with is you can see a fella coming in the door right here, and he's going to approach the counter as he walks in the door here. And then we have this young lady help him. Out comes the pistol. Here's the concealed carrier. And now they are playing cops and robbers over top of the...
Wow. Yeah, you got him good.
Got him good there.
So the perpetrator's down here, and you can see his pistol sitting right here. Then he's going to he's going to head for the door. So we're going to see a big mistake when we talk about legal issues right there. So I want to go back and check that out again right here. Watch his gun jump. Right there. Okay, so as far as prosecutors concerned, this fight's over. If we scooch this back a little bit here, you can see the perpetrator's firearms laying in the middle of the floor. Okay, so as far as a defensive scenario, he's trying to escape the fight. This fella, he was absolutely, justified in and right in, defending himself with his firearm up to this point. The last shot may get him in trouble.
Yeah, the only thing we can't see is right here. We don't know if the other guy From what we can see in the video,
on the bigger screen, he was headed out the door. So there was nobody there. There was no threat there left for him to shoot at. Now we're going to get to see another angle of this here. So perpetrator is going to come in from the right-hand side of the screen here, and he's going to draw. And then see how he keeps putting his hand up over top? The armed citizen actually gets him one.
Looks like you might have got him there too.
Mm-hmm. Third view, we can't really tell what's going on here as far as how many shots are being fired. But what I want to talk about, there's something in here if you watch really close, if we can find this again, that I want you guys to see. When we get to the point where we're looking down from the security camera behind the camera, I want you to look at his hand, okay? Watch his offhand thumb. He's going to actually railroad track his hand right there.
Yep.
So he fires a shot there, but he railroad tracks his hand. And this is the kind of stuff that happens when the adrenaline's flowing. I mean, this is an active gunfight here. So that's the kind of stuff that, you can expect, where all of a sudden your body forgets how to make a grip on the pistol, and you cross over a thumb. And that's why we train on the flat range so much. So we don't know if there were shots fired over top of it. We see the perpetrator take a shot.
And I don't know.
And then he's laying down here.
I don't know. He went to I don't know if maybe his hand hurt, or if he was, he decided to pretty much go with a one-handed grip for almost the rest of his shooting until about here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I guess the thing here is, I think what we can learn is when the perpetrator comes in, we can back him up here. And as you can see, this young lady, she kind of gets it. She goes prone on the floor. We're going to take cover. So somebody has told her about cover and concealment at some point in time. But if I can find this spot in this video where I'm looking for, which is pretty much right here, you're going to see the perpetrator approaches the counter. The armed citizen realizes this is a robbery, and the guns come out, okay? What I think he could have done better, and what we see here, is an open door. Instead of advancing to the counter to find out where that guy was at, if he would have backed up to the open door, that perpetrator that's now on the ground would have no idea where he went.
Yeah.
And if we look at this, he keeps looking over the counter. He's got the opportunity to back up. More shots are fired right there, but had he had the opportunity to back up behind that door casing, there's 2 studs next to each door casing. Interior walls aren't great cover, but you got a couple studs there that are going to help.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that he would have seen him way before that guy could draw.
Yep.
The perpetrator could draw the gun.
You're gonna put a mechanical advantage on your cover by backing off of it. It doesn't work as well in the vertical plane, but it works in the horizontal plane much better. But the thing is, time is distance, distance is time. Had he got back a little bit, that he could have, had a lot better opportunity to see what was going on and distance himself from the fight and make better decisions. He's making very risky decisions. He's literally taking incoming fire. Now the perpetrator can't hit the broadside apparently, so that's a good thing. But once again, he gets the perpetrator to go down. Here he stays, right? We're going to see this again from the side. Obviously, he wants to defend himself, but another shot to him. He goes down. What I would like to see him doing right here is backing off to that doorway. And that's something that he didn't do. As we see the perpetrator
keep trying to get, but back off to the doorway.
Absolutely, back off to the doorway. And then you can see this young woman is backing off. I cut this video off a little bit, but he goes around the counter and picks up the perpetrator's firearm. Don't do that.
No.
Go, lock the door and leave it right there. That's going to play into consciousness of guilt evidence. Why did you pick the guy's gun up?
Mm-hmm.
And that prosecutor is going to hammer that hole until he's satisfied with it. So leave, if he drops the gun, leave it there. Go lock the door.
Yeah, that's basically tampering with evidence.
Yeah, I mean, we have security footage. I'm sure he was thinking he didn't want anybody to get a hold of it. He didn't want the guy to come back and get a hold of it.
Right.
He'd already been fired on, so his adrenaline's going crazy. He's probably not thinking straight. But if there's evidence left behind, you need to point it out to the police when they arrive on scene, and make sure you point out all that evidence. Hey, the gun's laying here, the knife's laying here, whatever. But leave it alone unless it's going to disappear, right? Yeah. There isn't anybody trying to pick that firearm up and use it against him. So
yeah,
let it lay and just allow the police to come in, do their investigation, and then go from there. So,
and then of course that last shot. When the fight is over, let the fight be over.
Yeah.
And then, not saying to Eddie, stayed there. He was ready. He was on his sights, ready for you need to be ready for the fight to start again, because the fight could start again. But when the fight's over, you need to have that. When the fight's over, the fight's over. And
your job is to stop the threat.
Yep.
Once you've stopped the threat, then you need to reassess. Make sure that you got a counter and stuff like that behind it. Make sure the threat's not going to continue to be a threat, but also make sure there's no other threats around you, behind you.
Exactly.
Reassess your situation. Are you injured? Is your coworker injured? And he did, as far as that stuff. After he was done. He assessed, his coworker and got her out of there, and all that stuff. So
hopefully she was calling 911. We got to hand it to her. She did what she should have been doing, and behind cover, down as low as she could have got. And if she'd have been up, waving around, jumping around behind that counter, she probably would have got hit. So
she could have got hit by either the perpetrator or been hit by essentially friendly fire by getting in the way, and her getting down out of the way and just staying there. It helped him.
It did.
Yeah, he didn't have to worry about her.
And we're not saying that this is a male-female thing, or that this woman couldn't have defended herself. We've seen plenty of cases of that. It's just that she was not the armed defender in that case. So in that particular situation, she was more of a liability and a danger to herself and the person using the firearm to defend them. So good job. It looks like they had talked about this kind of stuff before, had a plan in place beforehand. So that's
with as many cell phone store robberies as we've watched,
as
far as videos, I would definitely have this conversation with every single person.
Absolutely.
It's either gas stations or cell phone stores.
It used to be the funny joke about robbing the 7-Eleven, and now it's like, well, let's go rob the Verizon place or the Metro PCS or whatever. And I don't know.
I mean, I guess with phones being thousands of dollars anymore and all the accessories they sell, but it just seems like such a cashless society to try and
rob the joint. I mean, it's not like you're gonna steal a half dozen iPhones and then get them turned on the next day and sell them on the street. Like, you got to have a plan for that. So, let me give you my Social Security number for the credit check. Hey, wait a minute, you just took them from the cell phone store 3 hours ago. That's just not going to work out for them guys. It's just amazing that the amount of cell phone store robberies. I just find it ridiculous. I don't pay my cell phone bill with cash. I pay with a card. So
mine just comes out of my checking account.
Yeah.
I never have. You never even see it.
We got another range tip for you guys. And I was scrolling Facebook the other night, and I came across this, and something that we talk about in rifle and carbine 1 and 2, but we don't really get to videotape it a lot, and we didn't videotape this video, but sight offset is something that we teach a ton. Defensive pistol, carbine. There is an offset. There is a difference in height between what you're looking at and where the bore of your firearm's at. But this is just kind of a funny little thing here. This guy's training for getting out of his vehicle or threats around his vehicle. He's using an AR pistol. We can tell that from a blade brace. Looks like he's perfectly legal in doing so, although his wallet's going to get a little lighter here shortly. And he makes a couple good shots on target, and then check it out right there. So, yeah, make sure that you understand sight offset. Looks like it was an F-150, and the mirrors are about $200. So
yeah, as long as it's not powerful.
Yeah, it looked like it was. So,
ooh, then that's $1,000.
Yeah. All right, so on to our news. What do we got for news? Anybody that follows Jordan Miller News on Facebook, dude's got some really cool stuff out there, so check out his page. He's got a write-up here about the students and parents of R.G. Drage in Massillon are saying the school has threatened to punish any student flying the American flag on their vehicles. Now, we have found out since that either the policy changed very quickly or somebody spoke out of turn that didn't have authorization to make policy or something, but we do know now that there was a bunch of student vehicles at R.G. Drage today with flags on them, and the school has come out and said that they're not going to punish any students for having an American flag on their vehicles. But we do have this thing. One student who is enlisted in the Ohio Army National Guard is saying the school removed the Trump 2020 flag from his truck without his permission on Monday. The student says when he asked the school why they did it, they said because it can be offensive. Anything can be offensive. That's a subjective term. This is a free society. You're allowed to offend people. It's a legal thing. I don't know what to tell everybody, but you are literally allowed to call people offensive things to their face, and it's not against the law.
It can be offensive to who?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, offensive is a subjective.
Is it subjective word to my cat?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Probably not. According to the student, he said, fine, I'll just fly the American flag. That's when the school official allegedly said they cannot display the American flag either because it may be offensive to some people. Well, I guess it looks like they lost that one. And I'm thinking really that somebody in the school spoke out of turn and kind of made up a policy on their own. But Jordan Miller just spoke to the school, and they referred me to the post they published on Facebook after I left a message earlier today. And that post on R.G. Drage's Facebook page says R.G. Drage supports the flag and always has. There has not been a single student disciplined for bearing the American flag, nor will there ever be. The school says no one will be punished in any way, shape, or form. They also added they do not want any flags flown that may relay a negative message. Nearly 20 vehicles showed up today flying a flag, and we got a picture here. And apparently my wife knows some of the people that have those vehicles or their parents, so she found that rather humorous today. So
there was a school somewhere down south that kind of had a same type situation a couple of weeks ago, and like 50 students drove around the parking lot.
Well, there's a lot of
stars and stripes that flying.
There's a lot of people and places that forget that even though they're non-voting, they're maybe the underage of 18, alcohol drinking young people under the age of 21. They are still citizens, and their freedoms still count.
Yes.
Right? their rights still count. You cannot, as a government official or government entity, trample on anybody's rights outside of the law, no matter what their age. So, and I think these students, they stood up for themselves and they did it the right way. They didn't cause a ruckus. They had a peaceful non-compliance where they brought an American symbol into the parking lot and displayed it. And essentially, they used the right things to tell their official that had, made this policy that he was wrong and they were not going to stand for it. And there's certain things that they are allowed to do that. Now, they all have to follow the rules that the school has put in place, but there are certain things outside of the purview of what the school is allowed to make rules on, and they are absolutely allowed to protest that.
If you're taking taxpayer money, then from any entity or government in the United States of America, it's absolutely makes no sense that they would not be allowed to fly the American flag.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like that got sorted out today. It was a pretty short-lived controversy, and we're pretty glad for that.
Yeah.
Now, Bowling Green police were called to Walmart for a customer walking around with a firearm. God. Just don't shop at Walmart and you won't have a problem. In any event, Bowling Green Police Division received two 911 calls reporting that a person was openly carrying a firearm around the Walmart store at 131 West Gypsy Lane Road, Tuesday at 1:11 p.m. When police arrived, they found Rogelio A. Sanchez, 77, of Bowling Green, exiting the store carrying a pellet rifle. Sanchez reportedly told police that he brought the pellet gun with him into the store so that he would be sure to buy the right kind of ammunition for it. He was also carrying a Walmart plastic bag with ammunition he had just purchased from the store. I mean, that makes sense to me. That happens here all the time. Yeah. Some dude just randomly walks in with a rifle.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he isn't pointing it at anybody.
Right.
I guess you get used to it. I don't know. Police informed Sanchez that Walmart has a policy of no open carry of firearms. It wasn't a firearm. It's a pellet rifle.
What?
On top of that, he was buying stuff that's bordering on ludicrous here.
I almost thought he was going to, when he bought the pellet gun, or brought, I looked quick glance, thought I said he bought the pellet gun there and somebody called the cops on him.
Yeah.
I think that would that. You could buy a muzzle loader. Exactly. You can buy a muzzle loader at Walmart and walk out of the store with it.
Yeah, I think Walmart escorts you out of the store with your muzzle loader because they don't want you loading it and going all Captain Kidd in the store, apparently.
Yeah.
You got a total of one shot.
Just a minute. I got to ram my bullet home.
God. So anyway, the policy is posted at the store's entry. Sanchez reportedly told police he did not see the sign on the door. Sanchez was advised that the police had received two 911 calls and that he had caused alarm by carrying a pellet rifle into the store. Sanchez was given a criminal warning for disorderly conduct. Now, that's a bunch of crap right there. Now, they give him a warning, but they should have just given him a trespass warning. But that just goes to show you Walmart really doesn't care about you. They didn't give him a trespass warning and tell him never to come back. They still want his money.
Yeah, there you go.
They
still want his money.
The cop gave him a disorderly conduct warning.
Yeah.
So they don't care. They still want your money. Yeah, come back and spend your money. They just don't want your opinion. So whatever.
Well, that's when we bought that rifle. We bought a rifle in Walmart in Massillon, and I had a box of ammunition for it in my hand. And the guy says, "You can't buy that." What do you mean I can't buy this? Nope, you can't buy it. You bought the rifle. But I can't buy ammunition? No. I can't buy a rifle that I just had a background check for at the same time that I buy the ammunition.
I think it's just employees making up this crap in their head.
No, I guess it is store policy, and So your mother had to buy the ammunition, and they escorted both of us outside with.
Oh yeah, that's going to do a lot of good. Here, buy my ammunition for me and
Yeah.
stand behind me in line. I mean, it just
makes
borders
no
on
damn
ludicrous.
Oh,
Not to mention, if you look at it from a business standpoint, like you come in, you buy a firearm, but you're not allowed to buy any ammo or accessories for it.
nope.
But hello, McFly. Like,
Yeah.
you got to take it out to your
Right.
car and then come back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, it's harder to load in my car than it is standing in the
yeah.
store.
That's what I kind of thought.
I don't.
And that's what I said when we got out there. What's to stop us from going back in there with it loaded? You know, takes
Yeah.
2 seconds to load it.
I don't know.
God.
So I got a good article here, and I actually, I got to apologize to you guys because I was scrolling back through it again and doing some reading. This is interesting. I don't know if you guys get into this kind of stuff, but I like the stats and I like to learn a lot about it. Active shooter incidents from 2000 to 2018, and this is a cool write-up. This is done by the FBI, and they spent some time at it. And they got color graphs and the whole 9 yards here for us to look at. So if you like pictures,
Oh, this is the updated one from the one that I had.
yeah.
Mhm.
So what we got here is we got a quick look. We're not going to go through this whole thing. I think it's 78 pages or something like that. But so we got shooter outcomes. Fled still at large. Here's the goofy part. 2018, there is one active shooter still at large. 2 in 2011, 1 in 2010, and 1 in 2005. Now, here's the thing. If they had apprehended that guy, now remember, this was published after 2018, actually pretty recent, a couple weeks ago. If they had apprehended those folks, that stat would have been changed that they were apprehended by police.
Yeah.
So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5 mass shooters, which they had 4 or more victims, still at large. And that's a crazy thing to me.
Yeah.
But
Just walking around anywhere.
just there, okay? So what we can see here is killed and apprehended by police, right? And they're getting better. 17 and 18, the police are getting better. The problem is they don't get there fast enough to stop all of the carnage that happens. But the green is what I want to kind of focus in on here. If we go back to 2000, and I don't know how much you guys know about historical concealed carry laws, but in 2000, there wasn't a lot. Ohio didn't pass their concealed carry law until 2004. So these 2002, 2003, 2000 in there, there wasn't a lot of folks in a lot of states applicable to, doing this. Now, 277 active shooter incidents involving 282 shooters in the U.S. that occurred between 2000 and 2018. So what this part of the graph doesn't show you is the total number. But it's interesting that as the concealed carry laws proliferate, more of them, A, get apprehended, and B, don't make it from the scene. Now, remember, the yellow part is from suicide. So this was somebody else that waylaid this guy's plans, or this person or group of persons' plans. Shooter outcomes, 116 apprehended by law enforcement, 103 committed suicide, 58 were killed by law enforcement, 3 by citizens, including 1 armed security guard, right? So we got a little bit of work to do, I'll tell you that. What do we got here? Statistical data regarding 277 active shooter incidents in the United States focuses on a particular active shooter-related topic and is designed specifically for law enforcement officers, first responders, corporations, educators, and the general public. So pretty much everybody. Leave it to the government to stretch out a sentence 47 years longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
So let's scroll down. Casualty breakdown. And we mainly see people concerned about this with schools, church organizations, daycares, stuff like that. But what you will find when you look at this data is those aren't the high priority targets for these guys. We're looking at open space with a number of wounded and killed is in the top of it. Commerce leads the pack in the number of deaths. So your workplace is going to be the highest probability of running into something like this. Education, close third, I do believe. I'll look at the numbers here. And then houses of worship, healthcare facilities, and government and military facilities. And then residences were rounding out the bottom ones, right? So,
well, that's got to be wrong.
What's that?
Joe Biden said there was 150 million.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but did you see that thing this morning? Joe Biden forgot who his wife and his sister was.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell the difference. So then it goes out to highlight some of the bad ones here. Outcomes for the shooter. So what we're looking at here.
That was the same as the one page.
Yeah, that's the same as the first.
It kind of is, but it's got single shooter incidents and 4 multi-shooter incidences. 1 involved 3 and 3 involved 2 or more shooters.
Yeah.
The most likely outcome was apprehension. You're looking at the number of suicide at the scene before police arrived, suicide at the scene after police arrived, and then suicide at another location. So at another location, that's telling me they're getting out of there. And they got some pretty cool graphs. And then here's the one that you don't really expect. Female shooters. So 12 of the 282 were female. 8 carried out their attacks in commercial areas, 5 in businesses closed to the public, and 3 in businesses open to the public. 2 carried out the shootings with their husbands. And then it gets the outcome here. Weapons, and according to the media, you would think that every mass shooter uses an AR-15. And if we look at this graph, colors don't lie, I'm telling you. 66% of them were done with a handgun. 34 with a long gun.
No, it even breaks that down. 97 with rifles, 50 with shotgun.
50 with shotgun. So the vast minority of them are done with any type of a rifle. And then you got 65% of the shooters carried a single firearm. 35% of the shooters carried multiple firearms. So they had multiple guns on them. Locations. And this is businesses open to pedestrian traffic. Boy, the media doesn't show that one all that much. Businesses closed to pedestrian traffic, and then schools K through 12, ministry properties,
military properties,
institutions of higher education, government properties, residences, houses of worship. So
open spaces,
and then it goes on to tell all about those different things. So once again, guys, every article that we put up, the link to that article is in the video description. So, if you want to dig into this article and actually educate yourself on this data, then punch that link in the video description and head on over. And I've been reading through it and going back and reading through it a little bit more and processing stuff in my head. So it's a good article. I like the FBI data, but head on over and check it out. And then we have a LA's finest here. Husband of LA's first black female DA points a gun at Black Lives Matter thugs invading his home. This is like a military intelligence misnomer. I don't know what the DA did to tick off Black Lives Matter. I don't know what the threat was. I don't know. There's no video going the other direction. We only see this guy. The article's a bunch of crap, really. if you watch the video
outside their house, and
why were they protest? Why was Black Lives Matter protesting outside of a black DA's house?
Something about, I saw a clip on it, thing about the way she had prosecuted some case just before she was elected DA. And as far as what I learned about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so two of those the ones that were protesting actually went up on this guy's porch and started banging on the door.
Oh, really?
He came out with the gun.
Yeah, and it said a man who protesters identified as David Lacey, husband of LA's chief prosecutor, wielded what appeared to be a handgun while threatening to shoot the protesters if they did not leave the property. And it said in a tweet that the group was protesting Lacey in front of her house after she allegedly failed to meet with Black Lives Matter. During the protest, her husband opened the door and threatened to shoot Abdullah, who is heard speaking off camera. And off my porch, I will shoot you. Can you tell Jackie Lacey that we're here? Abdullah said. I don't care who you are. The man said while lowering the gun, get off my porch right now. The man identified as David Lacey then said he was calling the police as he closed the door. Can he run for DA? That's awesome. Anyway, after harassing the Lacey family, Black Lives Matter, in true cry-bully fashion, is now whining. All we did was go to your home at night and make you feel intimidated. How dare you pull a gun on us?
Whoa.
I mean,
imagine that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't find that unreasonable. I mean, these guys are known for destroying things and people and causing fights. And, I mean, tactically, I think it was a bad move. I wouldn't have opened the door. I'd probably got a bullhorn or yelled through it or something like that. But I'd have called the police first before confronting the angry mob and then retreat back into the house so they'd have to come through the door and set up a tactical advantage and, you know, on and on and on. I mean,
come on in.
All kinds of different things that you could have done rather than hang half your head out the door.
Make you feel right at home.
But
Budget Guns and Gear Review said he's sorry he couldn't make the show. He had got to work a double.
Yeah, I saw that. Either. I saw that. I feel bad that he has to work a double.
He says he's making enough money going to NRA trip.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If they have it.
If they have it, why are they going to shut it down?
There was some stuff I saw this morning of whether they were going to have it or not because of too many people drinking Corona beer. So, you know, coronavirus.
Oh.
So.
That's insane. There's only been one person that's died from Corona. Yeah. All right. So the Supreme Court had an opportunity to actually hear the bump stock ban case, and there was a group of folks trying to get that into the Supreme Court, and they declined, which that's kind of bad news for us. We have got a really, you know, several justices, a majority of them that are pretty pro 2A. When the Supreme Court declines to hear a case, what that essentially says is that the lower court did not err in their decision. So the decision's already been upheld. And unless we can get another case into the Supreme Court, that it stands. And we're kind of up the creek on this. Unless we can get legislation through Congress to change that says, hey, this accessory does not meet the qualifications of a machine gun, so we're going to change that, and then they would have to take it back to the Supreme Court to change that legislation. So it's a back and forth type thing. Once again, it's this is from Bearing Arms. If you want to go down and read the article, this is Goods versus BATF hinged on whether or not the BATF actually had the authority to retroactively ban bump stocks, which the agency had previously approved, or whether Congress needed to actually write a law banning the device. As the Cato Institute noted last year, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals determined that the agency was within its authority to enact the retroactive ban. Now, the D.C. Circuit Court was obviously going to uphold that ban, but it's a blow to us and what we're working for to have the Supreme Court not hear that case.
Yeah.
So
It'll be interesting to see what kind of ruling they come up with in June against New York State.
Yeah, following that one closely. What that says two things: the bump stock ban stands, and that also really gives legal precedence to the fact that the BATFE can
change their
rules at whim, which is very bad. That is the bad part about this particular decision, is that the DC Circuit Court did not err in the fact that they allowed the BATFE to make this rule change, and that's the consequence that is so scary with this.
Well,
as far as the mechanical device, there's a ton of different ways that we as voters could get around that or get it passed, but it's allowing the organization that is not elected to make rulings and cause law and prosecutions, which is the bad part.
Well, right. And that can be influenced by whether there's a Republican administration or a Democratic administration, like it was under Obama.
Lest we forget, under the Obama administration, Obama tried to use ATF to put a ban on
lead
a lot of different kinds of ammunition.
Credit card processing.
There was a bunch of protesting that happened, and BATF decided to rescind some of their rulings on everybody in their 62 grain 5.56 ammo and stuff like that. So don't everybody forget about that they've tried this in the past, and if they decide to, maybe we're going to decide to change our mind on that ruling again.
Yeah. 5.7
now
by 28.
Now they've set that for we made a ruling, said it was okay, but we decide not to now.
Yeah.
And turn
they've
already turned all the people with bump stocks, they've turned them essentially into criminals. So are they going to turn you into a criminal for owning 62 grain 5.56 ammunition?
Look at the whole Fast and Furious thing. Running guns down to the drug dealers in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Operation Choke Point, where they tried to pressure banks and credit card organizations into disallowing or keeping money from Second Amendment style businesses, and we still deal with that today. I mean,
exactly.
It is really hard for us to get a credit card processor. We're put in a high risk category, so we got to pay increased fees, which makes no sense whatsoever. The other thing's insurance. I mean, we're really limited on the insurance for the business. So
we've had more insurance companies hang up the phone on us.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff matters.
Yep.
So we're going to go to the stupidity article of the week. 2 10-year-old boys arrested and charged with felonies for playing with toy guns. What these kids did was play Nerf guns in their front yard with Nerf gun bows, and they ended up pointing them at some cars that were driving by. Someone felt threatened from a Nerf gun that was bright orange. Grow a set and grow up. And it turns out, if you go check this article out, secondamendmentdaily.com, you'll find out that the Nerf guns weren't even operable. Not only did they not have darts, they were like outside toys that were broken
Nerf guns.
So the guy gets all just panties all in a wad over a kid pointing a broken Nerf gun at him. I mean, we teach our kids. We teach our kids not, if it looks like a gun, it is a gun, and you don't point it at anything. But Nerf guns they don't look like real firearms. That's the idea behind them, right? Is to kind of cause a ruckus with them.
Look at every Nerf commercial ever made. Everybody's shooting a snot out of each other with a Nerf gun.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea behind the thing. You need to be able to teach your children.
I like this guy's opening. In a world gone mad, violent criminals get released onto the streets while 10-year-old boys get arrested for pretending to shoot at passing cars
with a broken Nerf gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a world gone mad.
Yeah, so this is why voting matters, guys. And this goes on to say here that Common sense, where did you go? It left, apparently, a long time ago. El Paso County Sheriff deputies took the call and arrived at Carpenter's home. They asked questions and then arrested the boys. They came back over, told me my rights, and told me what was going to happen. They put handcuffs on me, and I got into the car. The charge, felony menacing.
Oh, my God.
Felony menacing. That's a bad one to beat. That is ridiculous. There's no menacing involved here. That if I was a police chief here, I'd be handing out pink slips like they were playing cards, man.
Yeah.
Like, your guys are fired. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, you guys got to understand it. Voting matters, and whoever this was this a sheriff or was it El Paso? Yeah, El Paso County Sheriff deputies. So we'd call this guy to the stand come election time and say, "Why did you do this?" The other thing you need to do is, if the county prosecutor decides to take this case up, call him to the stand.
I guess they already did. The judge.
Well, soon the charges would be dropped once the judge or whoever was in charge of this sort of thing heard the details. But when they arrived at the court date, they heard otherwise. Gavin's father, Chris, said it was just a hard no, that the district attorney wasn't going to throw this out. So vote him the heck out of there too, right? So this does go on to say that the kids, went through a diversion program and everything like that. And then 216 days after he's charged with a Class 5 felony, it was finally expunged from his record after he met the terms of his diversion. I don't know as I would let this go. I'd get a civil lawyer. I would go bankrupt fighting this thing. This is utter ridiculousness.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody out there watching in especially El Paso County, Colorado, go vote.
Yeah, go vote.
You need a new sheriff.
Yeah, absolutely you need a new sheriff. All right, let's go back to some fun. Product of the week. Looks like you got something that's... Here, you want me to
real fun. Steel targets.
Oh, these are...
We got... This one's a 6-inch gong, pistol rated.
1/4 inch thick.
That's solid steel.
AR-500
plate. This one's rated for pistols. Got nice hangers on them. Remember, if you're going to shoot these, you need to make sure you hang them so that they will swing out of the way, because they'll flatten around right out.
Yep. And they throw lead back at you. Make sure you're going to pock marks.
These are fun because, that's a 6-inch circle, and it's pistol rated. So you really start stretching your distance out. Rod was talking about earlier of stretching the distance out with a pistol with some binoculars. It gets kind of fun if you throw a piece of steel up there, hang a steel target out there, and push out 25, 30, 40, 50 yards with a pistol. Yeah. And I tell you what, everybody, you worry about pinpoint accuracy, but you get 30, 40, 50 yards out with a pistol, and you can hold your shots in that 6-inch group.
That's a good
You get that audible ring.
Yeah.
You got a real good grasp on fundamentals.
Yep.
And they're just absolutely fun. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has seen any videos or shot any steel, and, shot a lot of steel, and it's fun. Just ding, 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 ding. And got another one here. This one's kind of a pint size.
Yeah.
Looks like a pint size IPSC target. Yeah. This one's rifle rated.
That one's 3/8 though.
This one's a lot thicker.
It weighs as much as this one does.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this one, it's smaller. So if you're into the NRA marksmanship series or anything like that, where you can, get your marksmanship upgrades from NRA, you can shoot some of the longer range targets closer with a small target.
Yeah.
You get a smaller target, and like I said, this one's rifle rated. It's a 33% IPSC steel. Again, another fun time. You can, you sit out at 100 yards and try taking shots on this, the head section on this, and you get to hitting that every time. Starting to do a pretty good, starting to get into a pretty good group, and they're just a riot, and they're relatively inexpensive. $29.99 for a 1/3 IPSC rifle rated steel target, or by Champion. And
there's several other companies that make them.
There's several other companies make them. These seem to be the best so far, the best bang for your buck. See, you can get this one. You can get this 6-incher. We got 4-inchers. You can get bigger ones, little ones, all relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, even a regular size IPSC target's about $130, something like that.
Yeah, so they're all riot. So come on down, check them out. If you're looking at shooting some steel, we got it.
Right. So that's what we got for you guys tonight. Everybody, thanks for tuning into our show. Could have been out doing something else with somebody else, but we appreciate our audience that comes back and interacts with us on a weekly basis. If you want to check out some of the articles, head down to the video description. I always put the articles in the video description so you guys can go in and check that kind of stuff out. If you're enjoying our content, please share it. Tell a buddy about it. Head on over to our Facebook page and hit the thumbs up button, or down to our YouTube page or something like that. Hopefully everybody.
Don't forget to check out the new website. It's
cool.
Yeah.
Don't check out the new website. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a safe and enjoyable weekend. We will be here most of the weekend, either teaching class or standing behind the counter. So have a good night.